New tractors are smarter than ever. More screens, more sensors, more promises. But when the work gets brutal, they slow down. These vintage tractors don't. Built before software took over, they still plow longer, pull harder, and survive abuse that shuts new machines down. Today, we're counting down 10 vintage tractors that still work harder than new ones. Proof that progress didn't always mean improvement. Number 10. Ford 8N. The Ford 8N is proof that horsepower numbers don't tell the full story. On paper, this tractor looks almost laughable compared to modern machines. It doesn't have massive torque figures, electronic fuel injection, or hydraulic complexity. Yet more than 70 years after it first rolled off the line, the Ford 8N is still outworking many newer tractors in real farm conditions, and that fact alone demands respect. The secret of the 8N lies in how lightly everything was stressed. Its engine was never pushed to the edge of its limits. Ford engineers built it to run comfortably all day, not impress on spec sheets. That conservative design means internal components wear slowly, oil temperatures stay stable, and failures are rare even after decades of continuous use. While modern compact tractors often run hotter and harder just to meet emissions and power demands, the 8N calmly does its job without strain. Another reason the 8N still works harder than new machines is mechanical honesty. There is nothing hidden, no sensors guessing what the engine should be doing, no software limiting power. What the operator inputs is exactly what the machine delivers. This makes it incredibly predictable in the field. Farmers know how it will respond, how much it can pull, and how far it can be pushed before needing rest. Maintenance is where the Ford 8N embarrasses modern tractors. Most repairs can be done with hand tools, often in the field. There is no need for diagnostic computers, dealer visits, or expensive replacement modules. Parts are cheap, widely available, and often interchangeable across decades. This keeps downtime close to zero, which is something many new tractors simply cannot match. Most importantly, the Ford 8N works every day. It doesn't refuse to start because a sensor failed. It doesn't shut down because fuel quality wasn't perfect. It doesn't care about dust, vibration, or long idle periods. It exists to work, and it still does. That's why so many farms keep one running even when newer machines sit nearby. Number 9. Massey Ferguson 135. The Massey Ferguson 135 isn't just a tractor. It's a global workhorse legend. From wheat fields in Europe to sugarcane farms in Asia and Africa, this machine earned its reputation by doing one thing exceptionally well, working non-stop for decades without complaint. Even today, many MF135 tractors log more hours per year than modern machines costing many times more. At the heart of the MF135 is an engine that seems almost impossible to wear out. Designed for constant load operation, it thrives under pressure rather than suffering from it. This is something many modern tractors struggle with. New engines are often optimized for emissions and efficiency, not endurance. The MF135 was built when engineers prioritized longevity above all else, and it shows in every component. The tractor's weight and balance are another major advantage. Unlike modern lightweight designs that rely on electronics and traction control, the MF135 uses pure mass and mechanical grip. This gives it incredible pulling power for its size. In heavy soil or uneven terrain, it often performs better than newer tractors that lose traction or throttle back power electronically. What truly separates the MF135 from modern machines is how gracefully it ages. Electronics degrade, wiring becomes brittle, sensors fail, but mechanical systems, when built correctly, simply wear slowly. Many MF135 tractors still operate with original engines, transmissions, and hydraulics, something almost unheard of with modern equipment. Farmers also trust the MF135 because it doesn't surprise them. There are no sudden shutdowns, no warning lights that end the workday early, and no waiting for dealership approvals. If something breaks, it can usually be fixed the same day. That reliability translates directly into productivity. In real-world farming, consistency matters more than innovation. And that's why, even today, the Massey Ferguson 135 often works harder, longer, and more reliably than tractors built generations later. Number 8. John Deere 4020. The John Deere 4020 isn't just respected, it's legendary. For many farmers, it represents the moment when tractor design reached near perfection. Even decades after production ended, the 4020 continues to outperform newer machines, not because it's more advanced, but because it was engineered with unmatched balance. The engine in the 4020 was built with enormous safety margins. It rarely operates anywhere near its failure limits, even under heavy load. This allows it to pull implements all day without overheating, derating, or triggering protective shutdowns. Modern tractors often rely on software to protect themselves. The 4020 simply doesn't need it. Another major reason the 4020 still works harder than new tractors is its tolerance for real-world abuse. Dust, vibration, temperature swings, and inconsistent fuel quality are everyday realities on farms. Modern tractors are sensitive to these conditions. The 4020 was designed for them. Its systems are simple, robust, and forgiving. The transmission and drivetrain are equally impressive. Built from thick steel and designed for longevity, they handle loads that would accelerate wear in modern lightweight designs. Many 420s have logged tens of thousands of hours with only routine maintenance, a figure modern tractors rarely approach without major overhauls. Farmers often say the 420 feels honest. What you hear, feel, and see tells you exactly how the machine is doing. There's no digital filter hiding mechanical reality. This feedback allows skilled operators to work the tractor efficiently and safely, extending its life even further. When modern tractors fail, it's often sudden and total. When a 420 develops an issue, it usually gives warning and can keep working until repairs are scheduled. That reliability is why, even today, the John Deere 420 remains a benchmark that modern tractors still struggle to surpass. Number 7. International Harvester 1066. The International Harvester 1066 was built during an era when farmers demanded raw strength above everything else. This tractor was never meant to be gentle or refined. It was designed to pull heavy equipment, work long days, and survive conditions that would destroy more delicate machines, and it still does exactly that. The engine of the 1066 is its defining feature. It produces massive torque at low RPMs, which is ideal for heavy field work. Modern tractors often achieve power through high engine speeds and electronic management. The 1066 achieves it through displacement, mechanical strength, and sheer durability. The harder it works, the more comfortable it seems. Its heavy frame and drivetrain are another reason it still outworks new tractors. Everything about the 1066 was overbuilt. Axles, gears, and housings were designed for worst-case scenarios, not average use. This means wear happens slowly, even under constant stress. One of the biggest advantages the 1066 has over modern tractors is independence. It doesn't need dealer software. It doesn't need updates. It doesn't shut down to protect itself from its own power. When there's work to be done, it delivers every time. Farmers often reserve the 1066 for the hardest jobs because they trust it. New tractors may be faster or more efficient on paper, but they're not always dependable under sustained load. The 1066 is. It doesn't care how long the day is or how tough the soil becomes. In a world obsessed with technology, the International Harvester 1066 proves that torque, steel, and mechanical simplicity can still outperform modern complexity, and that's why it continues to work harder than many tractors built today. Number 6. David Brown 990. The David Brown 990 is one of those tractors that never chased fame, yet quietly earned loyalty everywhere it worked. It wasn't flashy. It didn't try to overpower the competition. Instead, it focused on one thing: doing serious farm work efficiently, day after day, without wearing itself out. That philosophy is exactly why so many of these tractors are still running strong, while newer machines have already been retired. What made the 990 special was how intelligently it was engineered. The engine delivered strong torque at low RPMs, meaning it didn't need to scream to get work done. Lower engine speeds translated directly into less heat, less vibration, and far less internal wear. Modern tractors often operate closer to their mechanical limits to meet emissions and performance targets. The 990 never needed to. It worked comfortably within its design envelope, which is why engines routinely last for decades with basic maintenance. In the field, the David Brown 990 earned a reputation for consistency. It didn't surge, hesitate, or suddenly lose power. It pulled steadily, even in heavy soil or uneven terrain. Farmers valued this predictability because it allowed long workdays without fatigue for both the machine and the operator. Modern tractors may offer automation, but they also introduce unpredictability through electronics and software controls. Another key reason the 990 still works harder than new tractors is serviceability. Everything about it was designed to be understood. Fuel delivery, cooling, hydraulics, nothing was hidden behind sealed systems. Repairs didn't require specialists or proprietary tools. That meant minimal downtime, even in remote farming regions where modern tractors often become liabilities. The David Brown 990 also shines in fuel efficiency under load. While modern engines may advertise impressive numbers, real-world performance often drops during continuous heavy work. The 990 maintains steady output without excessive consumption, making it cost-effective even today. Ultimately, the David Brown 990 proves that efficiency isn't about electronics or optimization algorithms. It's about designing a machine that can work hard without punishing itself, and that's why it continues to outperform many tractors built decades later. Number 5. Fiat 640. The Fiat 640 was designed for one reality: farming doesn't stop just because machines get tired. In many parts of Europe and beyond, tractors were expected to work long days with little rest, often under hot, dusty conditions. Fiat engineers understood this reality, and the 640 became one of the toughest answers to that challenge. The heart of the Fiat 640 is a diesel engine designed to run at low RPMs for extended periods. This wasn't accidental. Lower RPM operation reduces friction, heat buildup, and component fatigue. While modern tractors often rely on higher engine speeds and electronic management to maintain performance, the 640 simply works at its natural pace and keeps going. What truly separates the Fiat 640 from newer machines is how stable it remains during long shifts. Power delivery doesn't fade. Cooling systems don't struggle. There's no electronic derating to protect emissions hardware. The tractor just continues pulling, hour after hour, without drama. That reliability makes it invaluable during time-sensitive operations like planting and harvesting. The drivetrain of the Fiat 640 is another reason it still works harder than modern tractors. Built with thick castings and conservative tolerances, it absorbs stress instead of amplifying it. Modern tractors often use lighter components to improve efficiency and meet regulations. Over time, that lightweight design can translate into faster wear under heavy loads. Maintenance is straightforward and forgiving. Minor issues don't escalate into major failures because systems aren't interconnected electronically. A problem stays a problem. It doesn't cascade. This is a major reason many Fiat 640 tractors remain fully operational after decades of use. In real-world farming, uptime is everything. A tractor that works slightly slower but never stops will always outperform one that's faster but unpredictable. The Fiat 640 understands this truth, and that's why it still earns its place in fields today. Number 4. Zetor 7211. The Zetor 7211 was built with a mindset that many modern manufacturers have abandoned: assume the worst conditions and engineer accordingly. These tractors were expected to work in extreme cold, heavy dust, poor fuel quality, and minimal service support. As a result, durability wasn't just a feature, it was the foundation. The engine of the 7211 is deliberately simple and robust. It doesn't rely on precise fuel tolerances or delicate components. That allows it to run reliably even when conditions aren't ideal. Modern tractors often struggle in such environments, with sensors and electronics failing long before mechanical parts wear out. One of the most impressive traits of the Zetor 7211 is its cold start reliability. In regions where temperatures drop well below freezing, modern tractors often depend on electronics and preheating systems that can fail. The 7211 relies on mechanical reliability, and it starts when it needs to, no excuses. The tractor's heavy construction also plays a major role in its endurance. Thick metal, strong axles, and simple hydraulics mean the machine absorbs punishment rather than breaking under it. Over decades, this translates into fewer major repairs and longer service life. Operators often note that the Zetor feels honest while working. You can hear and feel exactly what the machine is doing. This feedback allows experienced operators to push the tractor hard without crossing dangerous limits. Modern tractors often hide this feedback behind electronics, making failures more sudden and less predictable. The Zetor 72201 may lack refinement, but it makes up for it with resilience. It doesn't care about comfort, appearances, or innovation trends. It exists to work, and that's why it still outperforms many newer tractors when conditions get tough. Number 3. Belarus MTZ-80. The Belarus MTZ-80 is not subtle. It was never meant to be. This tractor was built for survival, not comfort, and that single-minded purpose is exactly why it still works harder than many modern tractors today. Designed for vast, unforgiving agricultural regions, the MTZ-80 was expected to operate far from repair facilities and under constant stress. Its engine is massively overbuilt, capable of running under extreme load without suffering catastrophic failure. While modern tractors rely on electronic safeguards, the MTZ-80 relies on raw mechanical strength. The tractor's weight and structure allow it to pull heavy implements that would overwhelm lighter modern machines. Traction comes from mass, not software. There's no traction control, no power management, just steel and torque doing the work. Maintenance philosophy is another key advantage. The MTZ-80 assumes things will break and makes fixing them easy. Systems are accessible, parts are simple, and repairs can be done quickly. This keeps the tractor in service even when modern machines would be sidelined waiting for parts or technicians. Operators often describe the MTZ-80 as unstoppable. It's loud, rough, and demanding, but it never gives up. In long-term productivity, that matters more than comfort or efficiency. The Belarus MTZ-80 proves that when survival is the priority, simplicity wins. And that's why, even today, it continues to outwork tractors built with far more technology. Number 2. Deutz D6206. The Deutz D6206 is one of the clearest examples of how smart engineering can outperform modern complexity. While most tractors, old and new, depend on water cooling systems that eventually fail, leak, or corrode, Deutz went in a completely different direction. The D6206 was built around an air-cooled diesel engine, and that single decision is why so many of these tractors are still working harder than newer machines today. Water cooling introduces risk. Radiators clog, hoses crack, pumps fail, sensors misread temperatures. Modern tractors rely heavily on these systems, and when they fail, the tractor shuts down instantly to protect itself. The Deutz D6206 doesn't have that problem. No radiator, no coolant, no overheating panic. It cools itself using airflow and massive cooling fins, making it almost immune to the most common cause of tractor downtime. This made the D6206 legendary in hot climates. While modern tractors often struggle in extreme heat, derriting power or triggering warning systems, the Deutz simply keeps working. Farmers running long days in summer heat noticed something remarkable. The tractor didn't lose strength as hours passed. Power delivery stayed consistent, oil temperatures stayed stable, and wear remained minimal. The engine itself was built with huge safety margins. It was never pushed close to failure limits, even under heavy load. This means internal components age slowly. Many Deutz engines have run tens of thousands of hours with only basic servicing. Compare that to modern engines packed with emissions hardware, where a single sensor failure can shut the entire machine down. Another reason the D6206 still outworks newer tractors is independence. It doesn't rely on electronics to manage airflow, fuel delivery, or performance. Everything is mechanical, predictable, and visible. Operators know exactly what the tractor is doing by sound and feel alone. That feedback allows experienced farmers to push the machine hard without crossing destructive limits. Maintenance is also brutally simple. Fewer systems mean fewer failures. When something does need attention, it can usually be handled without dealer support. This keeps uptime incredibly high, often higher than tractors built 30 or 40 years later. The Deutz D6206 proves a hard truth modern engineering sometimes ignores. Removing complexity can be the greatest upgrade of all. That's why this tractor still works harder than many brand new machines sitting in dealer yards today. Number 1. John Deere. 4444. If there is one tractor that perfectly represents the peak of mechanical tractor engineering, it is the John Deere 4444. This machine wasn't just successful, it became the standard by which all tractors after it were judged. And decades later, it still outworks many new tractors, not because it's outdated, but because it was built at a time when nothing mattered more than durability. The 4444 was designed before electronics took over agriculture. That timing is critical. Engineers were free to build for strength, longevity, and serviceability instead of software compatibility and emissions compliance. The result was a tractor that could run hard, day after day, for decades. Its diesel engine is legendary. Built to handle continuous heavy loads, it rarely operates anywhere near failure thresholds. Heat is controlled naturally through conservative tuning and robust cooling design. There is no electronic derating, no sudden shutdowns, and no hidden performance limits. When the operator demands power, the tractor delivers it every time. The drivetrain of the 4440 is equally respected. Massive gears, heavy axles, and thick housings allow it to absorb punishment instead of transferring stress to fragile components. Many modern tractors use lighter materials to improve efficiency. Over time, that trade-off often results in faster wear. The 4440 refuses to make that compromise. Another reason this tractor still works harder than new ones is predictability. Modern tractors can fail suddenly due to electronic issues. The 4440 almost never does. When something starts to wear, the machine tells you through sound, vibration, or feel. This gives operators time to plan repairs instead of losing entire workdays unexpectedly. Farmers who own a 4440 often reserve it for the most demanding jobs. Not because it's newer, but because it's trusted. It starts when needed. It pulls without hesitation. It doesn't argue with the operator through warning messages or error codes. Even today, used John Deere 4440 tractors command high prices. That alone tells the story. In an industry obsessed with innovation, this machine remains valuable because it delivers something technology often can't: absolute reliability. The John Deere 4440 wasn't just built to work hard. It was built to never stop working. And that's why it earns the #1 spot. So that's it for today. If you like this video, then please hit the like and subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching.